Hey folks, FJB3 here, the Wrestling Nut. More content for geeks. I want to give you my takeaways from Raw last night. Overall, it was your standard show, but the Money in the Bank qualifiers were the most important thing. So let's go through it real quickly. Please subscribe to me if you get anything from my content. I try to give you good shit. Here we go, all right? So it starts out with a Punk promo, and anytime Punk's on the mic, I'm cool with it, man. I mean, Punk delivers a good promo, and they did something a little differently here. Sami Zayn interrupted, okay? And what they're doing, if you watch my content, my channel, is they're planting little tiny seeds for a Sami Zayn heel turn. That will happen, and when he does that, he'll finally be in a world title program with whoever's champion. So that's what this is all about. So I had no problem with this opening segment. It was good. Fine. Moving on. We get the women's Money in the Bank qualifier match, and Ivy Nile, Liv Morgan, and Stephanie Vaquer, La Primera. So she's an instant star, folks. Stephanie Vaquer, she's over. All right. It was a fine TV match. Cool with it. She's definitely the right winner. At the end of the video, I'll tell you all the qualifiers, and man, the women's are stacked as shit. Moving on. All right, so we get the Judgment Day War Raiders nonsense. The Judgment Day is basically a dead faction now since they released Carlito. Even though he didn't do anything, they still need numbers. But what makes it interesting is Roxanne Perez, another female they just called up, like Stephanie Vaquer, that's going to be a huge superstar. She's doing really good work. She's actually killing it, all right? And they're going to lead to something between Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan. Moving on. Becky Lynch and Valkyrie. I like the program. It's just unfortunate that WWE Creative couldn't come up with anything more interesting than the same repetitive promo battle. It's a shame. But, the match, I hope, ends up in a trilogy. I hope Lynch wins and has the IC belt, and then there's a rubber match where Valkyrie gets it back. That would make more sense, but they need to do better as far as the story and how they're presenting it. Moving on. All right, we get Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker versus Lame Event, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn. Okay, love Sami Zayn. This was your standard match. It was entertaining. The Rollins faction is elevated so much more with Bronson Reed. I did not like the faction before. Bronson Reed, now it makes more sense, okay? Punk comes in for the save. All your standard shit, setting up what's going to happen later on. Moving on. All right. So we get weird here. Kairi Sane, Raquel Rodriguez in a match. And what pisses me off as a wrestling nut is I'm not understanding why Io Sky, your women's world champion, is in a program for the women's world tag team titles. I mean, it's Io Sky and Kairi Sane are going to team up against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I don't get that. But they do that from time to time, and that's why I do these videos. Moving on. Karrion Kross, I've been hard on him, folks. Now I'm understanding, what his role is. He's the guy that's whispering in Sammy's ear, and he's telling him straight up the truth. And he's saying, hey, Sammy, we're all bad guys here, and to win the title, you got to be a bad guy. Embrace it. So, Karrion Kross, I apologize. You're doing good work, and you're making sense in this story. Moving on. All right, so we had a good main event. I mean, this was, a TV main event with AJ Styles, CM Punk, El Grande Americana in a triple threat match. So you can't complain about that. You knew the shenanigans would happen at the end of the match. A little surprised that El Grande Americano won, maybe AJ Styles, but it really doesn't make a difference. You knew CM Punk wasn't going to be in the ladder match because Rollins is. So, it was a fine main event, but what it really did was it made Seth Rollins' stable look stronger. And I'm telling you, Bronson Reed with Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman, that's working, folks, all right? So overall, fine show, but let's quickly go through the qualifiers of the men's and the women's. It's not even close. With the men's, you got Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Andrade, El Grande Americano, okay? With the women's, you got Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Naomi, Giulia, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer. Which match do you think is going to be better? I'll do a separate video about that. So that's my thoughts, folks. Give me yours. Leave me a comment. I will respond. Like I said in the beginning, if you like my content, if you like my stuff, please subscribe, even like it. I do it for the love of the game. really, for the passion I have for wrestling. I get it right a lot, but when I get it wrong, I'm the first to admit it. But I appreciate anybody who watches my videos. Thanks.